There was some overnight baseball news to talk about, and while you were watching something else,
why were you?
Maybe you were watching Below Deck on Bravo, like I might have been. Jason Heyward re-ups with the Dodgers, a one-year, $9 million contract to stay in Dodger Blue for 2024.
Turned it around for them.
He sure did. Had a big batting average season, one of his best BA seasons of his career. A resurgent year for the five-time Gold Glover, who will play in his 15th Major League season
for Jay.
2024.
You know the thing about it, too, you got to, as you become a veteran, figure out your role. He figured his role out with the Dodgers, and that's why you bring a guy back. He's not sitting there going, oh, I'm upset I'm not playing every day. He's figured out, okay, here's when I play. Here's how they'll use me. He accepted it, and he's gone out and had a nice year.
I mean, look at where he was last year as a Dodger when a lot of people thought maybe he'd be hanging him up. He said no chance, came back to post his highest OPS in 3 years, his highest batting average season in 4 years.
Last year I saw him in person. We were in Colorado in June. He is cut up.
Oh, he's huge.
He's still cut up.
He's huge.
Great.
He also changed his swing a little bit, too. I mean, you know, I'm not qualified to talk as a hitting coach would or as an ex-player would, but you can see it on tape. His hands are different. He changed his swing. And a guy who got there at a very young age, won Rookie of the Year, moved on to a couple of different employers, won a World Series ring in 2016. He had that legendary win one for the Gipper speech during the rain delay in Game 7. And again, a big year in L.A. merits a return engagement. I'll tell you something that most of the baseball community looks at with disdain. They look at the Dodgers because there's so much jealousy everywhere else about the Dodgers. Oh, they got all this money, they got all this talent, they win all the time. I'm talking about places like San Diego, San Francisco. They got the red aspirin bottle over the Dodgers. And they look at Jason Heyward and they say, man, all these guys the Dodgers get, and all of a sudden they get better with the Dodgers. A guy goes to L.A., has a career year, like we had him last year, and then he goes to the Dodgers and he's good. Well, maybe they're doing something right over there.
Doing something right.
Right? Guys like playing for Dave Roberts.
Yeah.
They have access to a lot of teaching tools that maybe other teams aren't as willing to experiment with. They give them credit, man.
Yeah, you got to give credit where credit's due. That was the one thing with Dusty back in San Francisco. And the guys would go play for him and have great years. Remember Sean Dunston, different guys would go play for Dusty. And his whole key was he would tell you on Wednesday, you're playing Saturday. Get your rest. Saturday's your day. Little simple things like that. Letting guys know when you're going to be ready and when your opportunity is going to come up and just play.
And there's more speculation out there that would fuel Dodger detractors' fires even more because Dylan Cease, his name is out there on the trade market. Cease coming off of a down 2023 by his own standards. This is a guy that has so much left. He's only 28 years old. A lot of people had him as a kind of a down-ballot Cy Young favorite in 2023. It didn't happen. But among the teams interested, at least reportedly, the Dodgers, and we hear the Braves are now in on these sweepstakes. If, in fact, the White Sox make a deal for Dylan Cease, it'll be one of the bigger in the hot stove trading season because he's that good. And, yes, there are other names out there on the trade free agent market for pitchers. Tyler Glasnow, Shane Bieber. We'll talk about that with JP coming up next. This guy's at the top of the class among trade candidates.
Yeah, you nailed it. I mean, the stuff is right there. And back to the Dodgers, you're talking about they have things they do. I think the pitching is the one thing's more advanced with all their technology, with all the intellect that they have. That's really where they turn guys around. You start looking at Andrew Heaney. When Andrew Heaney went to the Dodgers, he was like giving up home runs everywhere. And they figured out your spin rate, all your efficiency, all those things really came into play. And I think the analytics for pitchers are far superior than it is for a hitter. If you can tell me, hey, Matt can't hit a ball on the outer part of the quadrant, if you can locate that, 80% of the time he won't hit it. Thank you. Those are big things for you as a pitcher.
I mean, the rest of the league.
They've been able to do a lot of great stuff like that.
It's true, and the proof's in the pudding there. A lot of the league is kind of caught up to that in terms of, the Dodgers aren't the only team with a Rapsodo camera anymore, right? But,
true.
But to your point, the team that's been the most aggressive so far in adding to their pitching ranks has been the St. Louis Cardinals, right? There are three new veteran arms in that rotation. I think by the time the free agent and hot stove season is over with, the Dodgers will have been the the team that added the most, for the very reason that for 2 straight postseasons now, their pitching staff completely ran out of gas.
Yes.
Injuries, underperformance, whatever it was, you can't have enough starting pitching, and I don't think the Dodgers are going to rest until they have ×3 what they thought they might need.
Yeah, I mean, I totally agree with you.
You know, whether it's Cease, whether it's bringing in a former Cy Young Award winner who might be traded by the Milwaukee Brewers, whether it's Bieber going back to Southern California, they're going to be super active this year.
Well, we always talk about the Mets now with Steve Cohen and the Yankees with Steinbrenner and all that. Don't count Mark Walter out with the Dodgers. He's in there kicking around too, man. He is not afraid to invest and go get a club.
Yeah. You got the teams with the biggest money that have the biggest needs, and that means it's going to be a lot of fun for us to watch. Yeah. And again, we'll be chasing all this stuff down.
What a time to be a free agent right
Nashville.
now.
Yeah, what a time to be alive.
Free agent.
That's right.
Shane. Woo.